Pearson had a lot of ups and downs for me. But overall, as an experience, it's not something that I regret doing, and it's not something that I would take back in a million years. I think that the friendships I've made and the bonds that I've made are things that are so dear to me, and the people that I've met changed so many of my, perceptions and my biases that I would, I don't see people as, like, before I came to Pearson, I had a lot of really bad friendships, or like friendships that were super competitive, and like being at Pearson taught me like about how to make real friends and people who care about me and things like that. That was so helpful, not only for my self-confidence and my growth as a person, but also for my understanding of different cultures. And I think that's like one of the best, like one of the highlights of Pearson that I truly want to emphasize, and that I've emphasized to my incoming 0 years, to my first years, stuff like that. Um, and of course, it wasn't easy at first. Like, I was coming in as a Canadian, but didn't look Canadian, or like didn't look Canadian, a lot of assumptions were made about me, because in the first week, you're everyone's someone different in an orientation week, and you look back on it and you're like, why did I say that? And yeah, it's a roller coaster because you're going away from home. You have to be independent. You have to take care of yourself for the first time. I missed my mom so much during the first week, and I was like, oh my goodness, I wish I valued her a lot more than I did in like the last few days. But as soon as like I settled in, I made like friends, and I kind of like synced into like talking to people more. It became such a beautiful experience. Like, whether it was like doing outrigger at competitions with people, or even like doing assignments, it was just like a really really cool experience. And then like leading into second year, where people were like, oh, it's going to be super stressful, like all this, I will have to say like it was a little bit more stressful than first year, because now you have university concerns added to it. But it was still like such a beautiful experience. Like, I took a lot more leadership in the second year, with like my clubs and activities, and like with just like village um, volunteering and stuff like that. And so I got to interact with a lot more people, and I got to, like come out of my shell a lot more. And that was something that Pearson, like, I think the environment it builds for first years and second years naturally allow first years to transition to that position of leadership. And so I'm so thankful for that, because it taught me a lot about myself as like an individual leader, as a co-leader, and even like as like my style of like cooperation with other people. And that was like something I had never really understood or thought about before as something important. And so it was something that was a big learning lesson that I had with Pearson that I'm super grateful of. And of course, how can you not be grateful of like the environment, and like the like being by the ocean all the time, and like the nice weather in comparison to like the snow in Toronto. So like I think like I like looking back, even though there were obviously like things that I'm like, oh my gosh, like I wish I didn't do that, or like, oh my gosh, I wish that I spent more time doing this, or I can't believe it ended early. Like, I think in maybe 5 years time, the only thing that I will remember are like the really positive things, like the best friends I still keep, or the like the pictures of the nature that I like look back on and stuff like that. For any incoming, like Pearsonites, I just want to say it's tough at first, but it's an experience that like you really should be reflecting on throughout the way. Don't like wait until the very end to reflect on it and make changes, because you should be making changes and reflecting right from like the very beginning, and that's something that will really help you like realize how special and precious like the experience is.